To develop your skills beyond just your education, and in being able to achieve in life. You know, those interactions that you're going to have at the next step of life, it becomes most importantly, the most important part of your life, are going to be critical for you. So here's someone who has taken the time, made that commitment to ensuring that you have someone they can look to and look up to help them understand the critical nature of what's required and moving forward and being successful. It's my pleasure to bring up Mr. McMikle, or Brother McMikle, as I'm well known, and the around the country. We salute their innovative and dedicated leadership you have provided, continuing our efforts of training tomorrow's leaders today. Reginald F. Lewis Memorial Scholarship Luncheon, May 31st, 2015. Jose Zena, Chairman, New York Alumni Foundation, Incorporated. Brother Michael.
I'm going to take him on the road with me. Good afternoon, everybody. Come on, we can do better than that. We need to greet this afternoon with the energy and enthusiasm that it deserves. I'm not really saying it for me. There are a group of students here that are going to receive some scholarships. So in my mind, we're here to celebrate the extraordinary achievements academically of some of our students here. So we're going to try that again. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. Brother Mitchell, you know, Brother Chisholm, I'm noticing a theme here. We all seem to have gotten a phone call from Brother Reginald saying, are you going to be here? And I was surprised and deeply honored. I bring you greetings on behalf of the Board of Directors of the Northeastern Province of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. And I'm absolutely proud and honored to receive this award here today. I don't have many words because I am a little bit surprised and at the same time very touched and very honored. You know, in my role as Province Polemarch, I get the opportunity to travel a lot. And I get to travel this country a lot. And we have what's called a Council of Province Polemarch. So Kappa is broken into 12 provinces, and there are 12 of us that hold the title of Province Polemarchs. And we get together several times a year for the business of the fraternity. And we get the opportunity to brag on our province and chapters in our province and who's doing the best and who's bringing up the rear. And I always have as my trump card the fact that statistically, the Northeastern province is always the best performing. We're always the most compliant. We're always the tops of everything. But one of the chapters that I often talk about and brag on is the New York Alumni chapter and all the works that they do, because the men that are in this room and represent this chapter do more from a community service perspective. And their level of fellowship and brotherhood is one at a level that not many others can even come close to representing. And so whenever you get that phone call late at night, and I used to get them from Brother Hicks as well, but to get a phone call late at night to say, hey, can you be here? It's an easy yes for this chapter because they really exemplify all that I preach and teach and hope that chapters can become as we seek to work with chapters and build them to the level of the standard that our founders themselves would be proud of. So my hat's off to you, and accepting this award is very meaningful to me because it comes from you. And just know that I brag on you when I'm not here. But to the young men, there's really not a whole lot that I'll say because so many people before me have said such great words and have given you such great advice to follow as you go forward. But instead of telling you stuff, what I'm going to do is ask you some questions, and those will be the words that I leave before I take off from this podium. You know, one of the greatest sports stories that I like to talk about is when Coach Herb Brooks, who was the coach of the Olympic hockey team in the 80s, the Miracle on Ice team that beat the Russian team. It was really at that time one of the most unbelievable stories in sports. It was, we were the underdogs. To say we were the underdogs was really putting it lightly, and we really had no chance going into that game to beat them. They were the superpowers, and we were really nowhere in their league. But he challenged his team in the locker room, and he said, great moments are born out of great opportunities. And he challenged them to go and do something spectacular, something that people would never believe, something that people, if you gave them a million guesses of what was possible, they would have never guessed that. And they went out and they beat them. And they went on to win the Olympic gold medal in what's indeed one of the greatest sports stories in history. And so as I stand here before you before I leave, I challenge you to determine what your great moments are. So I'm going to ask you to do 4 things. And I don't know if you have pencil and paper, I don't know if you have phones or something, but I want you to write down 4 words for me. And everybody can play along in this game. It's a group participation. I want you to write down the word what? I want you to write down the word why. I want you to write down the word how. And I want you to write down the word when. And so this is your opportunity as you leave here to do something great. You have your whole life ahead of you, and you have the opportunity to accomplish something and be an example of greatness for people to follow you as they come after you. But you have to answer these 4 questions. What are you going to do? What's it going to be? What are you going to do that's going to separate you from the people that you walk with in this life, these people in your class, the people that represent the people in your age range and your class and your grades? What are you going to do to be different? What are you going to do to be extraordinary? What are you going to do to be a story that gets honored and repeated through history? And why are you going to do it? So that's the next thing, why? Why are you going to do it? Because you see, accomplishing something extraordinary is not easy. And it's going to be difficult, and there are going to be times when you want to give up, and you want to stop, and you want to quit. And you want to give in to what you'll hear in the crowd of you can't, you won't. Why do you do that? Why do you put forth that kind of effort? Why do you devote that kind of time? And you have to understand your why, because your why is that driving force that's going to allow you to accomplish your what. So then, the next word that I had you write down was how. How are you going to do it? Because you can know what you want to do, and you can know why, but if you don't figure out the how, it's just a pipe dream. You have to transition that into some type of plan to accomplish what you want to do in life. And then when? When are you going to do it? Because you could know what you want to do, you could know why, and you could know how. But if you don't get moving and actually accomplish it, then it's wasted. So as I leave here, I challenge you to dare to dream, dare to believe, and dare to accomplish the extraordinary. Thank you all. Thank you for this award. Thank you for